Hi there guys, it's James here. Just going to give you a little tutorial on how to do one of these smoke pictures you can see on here at the moment. What I'm not going to do is show you how to take the actual photo itself. There is a description on my Flickr page here, I'll leave a link on there or something, to have a look at how to actually take the photo. But what I'm going to do is to show you how to convert it from the base raw image here, you can move it around, bring it back out, to actually something that looks a bit like what I finished up with on there. So what I've done, I have just now used this raw image just to create a new version of the one I did there. It's not exactly the same, but you'll see it's pretty much the same. So I'm just showing you how to do the rough working so you can play around with it on your own time. What I've done here also on the bottom right hand side, I've left all the layers and that what I've done to actually create the image. I will go through step by step how to do it, but it is pretty simple. I do know obviously everyone has their own methods of doing things as well, so if you already got a different method of how to do this, that's great, but obviously this is just the way I do it, so we'll get cracking. Okay, right, so we started off here with the raw image. This is straight out of the camera. This was a CR2 file, raw image on a Canon. I just put it straight into Photoshop and job done. So the first thing you want to do, obviously you can see this is on a black background, that's how you take one of these photos. We will need to convert this into white so we can actually see it a little bit better. Now you could do it with brushes, but it's just going to take forever and you'll never get the right sort of results. So the most simple thing to do is literally invert the layer. Now I'm using quite a lot of keyboard shortcuts, and I'm on a Mac as well, as you can see. To do that, basically it's image, adjustments, invert, or Command I if you're on the Mac. So that's what you're going to do, Command I. There you go, got the white. Now you can pretty much already see that half the work's already been done there, so if I go back to the Flickr, the only thing really left to do is do this nice colour gradient. Now I've sort of given away how to do it already just by saying that. You can see on here, layer 1, just to invert it. Now the second thing I've done here is to sharpen it up a bit, because you want to see all these bits of details in the smoke. Obviously you can see them okay there, but if you're going to bring them up big, you want to sharpen them up. Now the way I do sharpening, one of the ways I do sharpening, is to use the high pass filter. Now there's probably lots of other tutorials on Photoshop, on YouTube and that, to do the high pass filter, but I'll show you anyway. First things, we're going to duplicate the layer. I should have done that before really, but I'll do it now. Duplicate layers are so important because if you do want to change something you've done 6-7 steps before, obviously you can't do that if you've just done it on one base layer, so it's really good to do that. So you duplicate the layer, that's Command J on the Mac. Obviously there's various options up here. If you can't find if you don't know the keyboard shortcut, just look around, because on the menu options here you'll see that it gives you all the keyboard shortcuts next to things that you sort of regularly do anyway, so just learn them and memorise them. Simple really. First thing you want to do for the high pass filter is convert for smart filters. So filter, convert for smart filters. What this allows you to do is once you've put all the adjustments on there, you can change them live on the layer, so you can see exactly how it's affecting the layer rather than just doing the adjustment and then seeing how it turns out. You can just do it live and you can see exactly what's going on. So we've converted it to smart filters. You can see the little icon pops up there on the layer. Go to filter, go to other, and high pass. Now you can see what it's doing is basically looking at the edges of the image and bringing out the edges, so you can see roughly what's going to be happening to it. Now I'm just going to leave it at 4 pixels for the time being. I think that's what I picked last time. So I'm going to OK that. Obviously it remains grey, so it's a case of then changing the blending layer of the layer. So we can go down to overlay, and there we go, slightly sharpened. And if you want to adjust it, obviously you can zoom in and check what sort of level of sharpening you've got. And if you want to adjust the actual high pass, you just double click high pass, and there you can see how it affects things as you do it. So I'll stick with 4 pixels depth or whatever. Okay, done. So that's the sharpening done. Next step is the colour gradient, as we can see there. So once again, we're going to create a new layer. If you want to, you can name your layers as well. We'll call this colour gradient, obviously. There we go. Now for gradients, you can press G on your keyboard for gradient, or so you can find the icon here on the left hand side. Now what we don't want to do is just do a normal neutral density gradient, because it looks like that, and we don't want that. So what we need to do is go up to the gradient section here, which appears when you click gradient. Come down, go to this little arrow here, and go all the way down to simple. Okay. Right, left hand side here you can see all the various different simple gradients for colours. Now as I'm going to try and replicate the one I did on Flickr there, I'm just going to use this colour here, which I think is what I used last time. Okay, so we've selected it. Great. Now what you'll see on the gradient tool, on this little icon up here, you see it goes from light to obviously the full dark colour, and that is how it works on the screen as well. So wherever you're pointing the mouse, wherever you start the gradient will be light first and then going to darker. You can reverse this if you want, so dark first then light, by simply clicking reverse. As you can see, it changes at the top there, so we'll do that. So to create the colour gradient, we simply go over the top like that. So we've got a nice colour gradient over the top there. If you want to do it so you can see exactly what's happening to the image every time you do the gradient, you need to select a different blending mode. So we go to normal and we scroll all the way down to colour. There we go. And as we do the gradient, you can see it changes colour, which is quite nice. That's quite nice. I'll keep that as it is actually. So there's the colour gradient. Now as you can see here, if I swap between, obviously you've got darker areas, some bits have been highlighted, some bits have been darkened, all bits and bobs like that. And we're going to try and replicate roughly this again live, so that's the next step I'm going to show you there, how to do that. So, new layer, once again, and we're going to fill this new layer with 50% grey. So it's Shift F5, 50% grey. Here we go. We're going to go down to the blending and click overlay, so it looks as if it's not there anymore. And what we can do with this one is select brush, big up a little bit. Now as you want to darken it, we select the brush colour to be black. Okay, like that. Now you can also change the opacity of this brush to give you different darkening effects. What you can do is obviously select the little scroll thing here. You can do 100% if you wanted to. And what you can also do is just use the numbers on your keyboard. So obviously 5 is 50%, 6 is 60%, and going up the this there. So what we can choose to do is darken bits of the photo. Now obviously that looks a bit extreme, so we can go down on the opacity of the brush here down to maybe 50. There we go. We can change that. Now obviously you're going to be a little bit more careful than I am doing these things at the time, but also I'm doing it a bit quick, so we can just bring back in some of these details of the smoke, like that. Right, that looks pretty good as it is now, doesn't it? So, next thing to do, obviously you can see that some of this has been coloured and some isn't, and this is obviously desaturated. So the next step, of course, is to do a desaturation layer. Now we go down to the black and white yin-yang thing there, and we select hue saturation. Here we go. Now, we want to, if you want to, you desaturate the bottom here. So we need to go down to desaturate, and obviously that'll do a global change over the entire image, so that's fine. Now obviously when you do these adjustment layers, it does give you an automatic mask layer as well. So click on the mask layer. Oops, there's it. Let's put that back up there. Click on the mask layer, and it's just a case of going back to gradients. We don't want the colour gradient anymore, we want just a normal neutral density gradient. There we go, yep, okay there. And you can start to bring back the colour in the top bits. So you can just basically play around the gradient until you find sort of a level that's good, that's not good. Let's do that one. Yeah, that's alright. So we brought back the colour basically into the top bit here, and we've left that a little bit desaturated at the bottom. So we're nearly there, and then it's just a case of bringing out more of the details. So another new layer, well, adjustment layer, and we go to brightness and contrast, and we can up the contrast, and obviously that will bleed out a lot of the image. But if you just drop the brightness a little bit, it brings it back in, and just basically play around with the sliders until you find something that approximates good. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, and there we have it. fairly simple steps there. Obviously some of you notice this is a bit bluer, or turquoise, whatever, than this one. That is pretty simple to do. And obviously I've made it a bit bluer on the actual image there as well. So pretty simple process. So you're inverting it, doing a nice colour gradient, sharpening it with high pass if you want to choose that sharpening method. And it's just a case of darkening selected layers and doing various different colour gradients. And that's it. Once you're finished, flatten the image, job done. Any comments or any sort of better ways of doing it, obviously please leave a message and I'll look through it. Thank you very much, guys.